Can you tell if a person really loves you when they make eye contact, touch you, or just sit quietly next to you? Is it possible to sense their true feelings? In fact, most of the time love is not said out loud. A feeling from the heart is hidden in a small glance, a silent gesture, or a well-timed message. But it is hard to recognize because people who truly love often hide it, out of pride, fear, or the possibility of rejection. And we can misunderstand their behavior and even dismiss true love out of hand. That's why today I'm going to share with you 6 hidden signs that can help you recognize when someone is secretly in love with you. These behaviors can be easily overlooked when they go unnoticed, but once you know them, you start to read people's feelings in a whole new way. And maybe you'll realize how deeply someone you used to call just a friend actually feels for you. Because love doesn't always come with words, but behaviors. They never lie. If you like to analyze the emotions behind human behavior, this video is for you. I would be very happy if you like and subscribe. And in the comments, if you have such an incomprehensible love story, I would love to read it. Let's start if you are ready. Sign 1. They remember the little things, even when you forget. One of the quietest but most powerful signs of love is when a person can't forget small but meaningful details about you. I'm not just talking about when this person remembers your birthday. I'm talking about seemingly mundane things like a childhood memory you mentioned, a word you found difficult to pronounce, or how you drink your coffee. Maybe you mentioned it once and then forgot about it. But he hasn't forgotten, because he is secretly in love with you. In psychology, this is called selective attention. Our brain recognizes things that are important to us and keeps them in memory longer. If these small details about you are frequently processed in a person's brain, it shows that they are forming an unconscious bond. Because he has labeled you as important, details that others pass off as ordinary conversation are special and meaningful to him. People who love secretly are often afraid to say their feelings openly, but their interest manifests itself in these little recollections without them realizing it. For example, one day you said you were cold. Months later, he brings you a coat for an evening out. Maybe she remembered which soup you liked when you were sick. These details are done out of instinctive love, not conscious planning. And here's the deeper part. These people don't just want to make you feel special. They also want to make you feel safe. Because love is not just about liking. Love starts when a person wants to make themselves useful to you. Even if you don't realize it, that person is always carrying the question, "How can I be good for them?" in their mind. When these people hear something about you, they sincerely embrace that information. In a way, they write a memory of you in their own mind, and you are not even aware of it. Because this love is silent, it is protective, it is patient. Also, this kind of attention often manifests itself in behavior, not in physical gifts. So instead of buying you an expensive present, he or she might buy your favorite chocolate bar when they see it at the store. Or when he sees news that interests you, he immediately wants to share it with you. These are small but telling details. Remember, love always leaves a mark, and it is not in big words, but in small remembrances. Now a question for you. Has anyone in your life ever approached you in this way? Someone who listened to you, understood you, remembered you, but never expressed their feelings. Maybe now you understand better how much that person cared about you. If you write in the comments, together we can see how universal these invisible but powerful signs are. And if this sounds familiar to you, maybe someone loves you quietly but deeply. Sign 2. They get quiet when you talk about someone else. True feelings go far beyond words, especially when it comes to jealousy. But the jealousy we're talking about here isn't loud or dramatic. It's quiet, subtle. When you mention someone else, maybe just as a friend, maybe completely innocent, you can see it. A small shift in their face, a sudden silence. In that moment, it's not words speaking, it's feelings. If you're wondering whether someone is secretly in love with you, pay attention to how they react when you talk about someone else. Someone who truly cares won't interrupt or object. But there will be signs, a dullness in their expression, eye contact breaking, a sudden shift in tone. These small changes reveal how much they care, deeply and silently. Psychologically, this is linked to emotional possessiveness. People don't want to share what they secretly cherish. And when love is hidden, this possessiveness shows up more intensely, often unconsciously. They may not even realize why they're suddenly withdrawn. But inside, something aches. It's not just about jealousy, it's also about regret. When you speak fondly of someone else, they may be silently thinking, "I should have said something," and that regret adds weight to their silence. You may notice they try to change the subject. They might crack a joke, shift topics, or steer the conversation somewhere safer. But beneath that behavior is a message. "I don't want to share you, but I'm too scared to say it." This kind of silence speaks volumes. Sometimes it's their loudest confession. Because when someone suppresses their discomfort to protect you or avoid losing you, that's love. Picture this. You're talking about someone you like, and they simply reply, "Oh, I see." But was there a flicker in their eyes? A shorter than usual sentence? A half smile that didn't reach their eyes? These are the ripples, the cracks through which hidden love leaks. And always remember, someone who truly loves you wants you to be happy. But that doesn't stop them from fantasizing about being in your life. Their silence is not indifference, it's fear. Fear of rejection, fear of loss, and a deep yearning to be close without risking everything. Have you ever known someone like that? Someone whose silence felt heavier than words? If you have, drop a comment. Your story might rescue someone else's. Sign 3. They show an abnormal level of interest in the smallest details of your life. Have you ever been surprised when someone asks about a detail you only mentioned once, like your favorite coffee brand or your childhood cartoon character? That kind of intense attention to small, random moments reveals something most people overlook: restrained love. In psychology, this is called micro-focusing. When someone can't express their emotions openly, they zero in on the details. They hold on to small facts, facial expressions, preferences, because that's their safest way to feel close to you. It doesn't take much risk to say, "I remember how you like your coffee," but to say, "I love you," that's terrifying. If someone truly values you, they'll remember things most people forget. A random sentence you dropped weeks ago, the slight change in your tone, a flicker of sadness in your eyes. These are signals your brain might not even remember, but theirs does. Why? Because to them, you're important. Secret love isn't loud. It lives in small, quiet moments. It hides in attention. It hides in memory. And most of all, it hides in the way they've given you a special place in their mind. People don't remember these things out of politeness. They remember them because they're tethered to you emotionally. Every detail becomes a way to feel connected, to feel close, to feel like they know the real you, even if they can't say how they feel. This is not simply observant behavior. It's the result of emotional investment. When someone stores these little memories, it's their way of saying, "You matter. I'm paying attention, even when you're not." It also shows up in unexpected ways, like when they bring up something you forgot you shared, or when they notice your mood shift even before you do. They're attuned, not just to your words, but to your energy. So the next time someone surprises you with a comment that seems too specific, don't brush it off. Ask yourself, why would they remember that? The answer might be simple: because they care, quietly and deeply. Have you ever realized someone knew you better than you thought? That they remembered the small stuff long after even you had forgotten? If so, maybe it wasn't just attentiveness. Maybe it was love, watching from a distance, waiting for the right moment. Sign 4. They start speaking the same language as you. Looking into someone's eyes might not always reveal if they're truly in love with you, but if you really want to know, watch how they change. One of the most subtle but powerful signs of a secret crush is this: they begin to think, feel, and even experience life through your lens. At first, it's hard to notice, but with time, you'll see it. They suddenly become curious about the books you read. They start recommending movies they've never even seen before. You hear a song playing that you once mentioned loving, and they say they just stumbled upon it. But these are not accidents, they're transformations. Because deep down, in trying to get closer to you, they're learning a new kind of language, your emotional language. This shift doesn't just stop at shared hobbies, it goes deeper into values, outlooks, and perspectives. Your optimism softens their cynicism. Your sense of wonder wakes something up in them. Someone who used to be caught in the details now starts looking at the bigger picture. Not because you told them to, but because your presence quietly influences their inner world. Psychologists call this phenomenon emotional synchronization. It's an invisible harmony that forms when two emotional systems begin to resonate. You might not realize it's happening, but over time you'll sense it. Their emotions begin to align with yours, not just to agree, but to understand, to feel with you, not just for you. Watch carefully. Has someone around you begun to shift in small ways? Have their interests started to mirror yours? Do they suddenly share your opinions, your rhythm, your emotional tone? If so, it's likely not just admiration. It could be love in disguise. Because people in love don't always declare it. Sometimes they tune themselves to your frequency. They absorb your energy, mirror your mood, echo your expressions. And they do it not because they're pretending, but because they want to belong in your world. This kind of mimicry is not flattery, it's connection. It's how humans form deep bonds. It's how someone silently tells you, "I'm listening, I'm here, I get you." And the most beautiful part, this transformation doesn't require you to change. Instead, it proves how deeply your presence already affects someone else's inner life. So if someone starts reflecting your thoughts, speaking your metaphors, or living your favorite ideas, don't ignore it. That's not coincidence. That's love, learning your language, quietly, respectfully, patiently. Sign 5. Silent presences that make you forget the passage of time. True love is sometimes most evident in silence. There are moments when the other person doesn't say anything, doesn't do anything. Maybe you don't even see eye to eye, and yet their presence gives you peace. His presence is not noisy, but his absence is very palpable. This kind of connection is a sign of an emotional attraction that often goes unnoticed, but carries deep meaning. If someone really loves you, they don't perceive the time they spend with you as time. He doesn't look at the clock when he sees you. He doesn't calculate the time when he talks. He doesn't feel he has to do something when he is with you. It is enough for him to be there, to be present, to share, even to sit quietly next to you carries meaning. This is the purest form of love. It is not action, it is essence. Sometimes conversations turn into silence, but it doesn't bother you, because silence is peaceful, not tense. This person doesn't feel obliged to talk to you because they feel they can get along without talking to you. They don't look for reasons to see you, because your presence is a reason in itself. And most importantly, he or she finds it valuable to just be there without having to do anything in your presence. Scientifically, this kind of bonding is defined as emotional synchronicity. In other words, there is an invisible rhythm, a harmony of emotional frequency established between two people. This harmony is especially evident in people who have difficulty expressing love. They try to be with you instead of talking. Instead of laughing, they stay in your eyes. Instead of touching, they just wait silently. It is as if they are telling you, I am not looking for a reason to be with you, because you are already the reason. And sometimes the deepest loves look at you through silence. If he or she feels more himself or herself around you, even in crowds, that person is not just interested in you. He or she probably feels much more. Sign 6. He quietly makes you the center of his life. Sometimes true love shows itself not in the loudest words, but in the quietest choices. One of the most profound signs that a person secretly loves you is that you have become the center of his or her life without even realizing it. This is much more meaningful than saying, I love you directly, because it is based on the spontaneous flow of emotional intimacy rather than conscious plans. Such people often make you a priority in their daily routine. When they go shopping, they think of your favorite coffee. When making weekend plans, they can't think without including you. When making decisions, they consider how you will feel. These things are often not openly expressed. But you have become a silent touchstone in his life, and this is too deep to be explained by mere liking. In psychology, this is called emotional investment. People only make emotional investments in those they care about. This investment manifests itself in time, attention, thought, and sacrifice. And often these sacrifices are made without expecting anything in return. Because deep down inside, they feel that your happiness is their happiness. Another characteristic of these people is that they remember small details about you. A sentence you said once, a childhood memory, the fact that you were upset on a certain date. These things are not forgotten because you now occupy a special place in his emotional memory. And this place is independent of you being physically there. You are now constantly present in his mind. Someone who puts you at the center of their life is also focused on your development. He supports you, encourages you, and pushes you to reach your potential. He is proud instead of jealous, stands by your side instead of possessive, because they don't just love you, they want to grow with you. Such a quiet but deep attachment is often overlooked. But with a careful look, you can realize how much space you occupy in his or her world. If a person feels your well-being as if it were his or her own happiness and shows it regularly, not in words but in behavior, that love is a secret but true love. True love is often hidden in the silence of behavior, not words. Sometimes the strongest emotions, the deepest feelings of love, are revealed long before an "I love you" is uttered. If someone really loves you, the echo of that feeling is hidden in small moments. In eye contact, in patience, in trying to make you feel safe. And seeing these signs allows you to recognize the most precious emotional gifts you've been given throughout your life. But the question is, what do you do when you see these signs? Are you open enough to someone who truly loves you, or do you ignore this love with the scars, fears, and uncertainties of the past? Life may not always bring the right person back into your life. So if you watched this video and you noticed the signs we just described in someone's behavior, do something. Maybe say thank you, maybe send a message, maybe just look at that person a little more carefully. Because love multiplies when it is recognized. It deepens when it is recognized. And true, love is never a coincidence. If one or more of the signs in this video reminds you of someone, share it with us in the comments. Remember, your story can be a light for someone else. And if this content was good for you, leave a like. That's a strong signal for us to continue with content like this. By subscribing to our channel, you can stay up to date with the new videos we publish every week on relationships, psychology, and the depths of the human psyche. Because we're not just sharing information here, we're growing with you. Now sit back and think about it. Was there someone in your life who showed this quiet but deep love? And are you ready to recognize it?